you were only 20, and you had a bit of a premonition that morning that something wasn't going to be right that day. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was there for 4.5 months out of a 6 month tour. Boy tour. Had my own voice basically say something's going to happen bad. But the thing is with that job, you don't get to have a day off. So it's not like, excuse me, I don't want to go on patrol and fight because I don't feel very well. You have to just get stuck in. So yeah, I went out there knowing something wasn't right. But it could have been nothing. It just turned out it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. Probably worse actually. And yeah, now I am the way that I am.
Yes, and you dealt with what happened to you, both mentally and physically, with remarkable fortitude. I know people make that kind of a face because you've been quite open and talking about the situation. So with all that in mind, what do you think when you hear Donald Trump's comments about soldiers like you and from other nations not being on the front lines back then?
Yeah, it's annoying because if he was talking, like, if someone's speaking the truth, you don't mind, but when it's complete rubbish, it kind of offends you. So the fact that I was on the front line every day whilst I was there, sleeping with your weapon, going to toilet with your weapon, obviously fighting with your weapon. So then say we weren't there, well, not weren't there, but on the back foot, so to speak. That's not the case at all. That's literally not true. My injuries, the stuff I've had to go through before I was even injured. I have to live like this now. I'm 38 years old. I have to die with my PTSD, my injuries, and so on. Try and raise my family with these injuries, so things are difficult, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And to just have someone who can't even quite sleep sit there and just say, you guys were kind of slightly further back along with other nations. Yeah, it's offensive. And I think the worst thing is, for me, it's not so bad because I just get on with the day. But it brings up PTSD, depression, you might hit the drink again, and then you might say sorry tomorrow, but they're going to be in that zone for maybe months, if not years, and in some cases end up dead.
That's a very interesting point. You think these comments could be triggering for some of your former comrades?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can't really say what I was going to say, really, but it's going to be
try. I mean, obviously without swearing, but feel free to say what you think.
No, I mean, just it's honestly, you got to go through it to know, but you literally haven't got a clue. If you look online at all the comments and stuff like that, people are raging because of what we actually had to go through as young lads and women. It's an absolute joke, to be honest with you, but you get over it somehow.
Do you know what? A lot of people may not have an idea of what happened there. I spent a few weeks in Afghanistan in Helmand. I went to the Kajaki Dam, which I think was where you were sort of defending. It was the dam across the Helmand River in the north of the province. It would be good to understand what kind of collaboration you experienced with forces of other countries, with American forces. Was the collaboration there? Was the helping each other out? Or in Helmand in particular, was it really just British forces and not very many others?
Yeah, so where we were, it was just Royal Marines, that was it. But down the road, not down the road, but UK down the road, there was Americans there. You hear on the radio sometimes, like, someone's been injured down there, bombs have gone off, you see smoke in the distance where something's gone off, and that's probably someone getting blown up or vehicle or whatever. In my case, with my landmine that went off, big massive bomb basically, so they would have seen it from their side, but didn't know who the hell I was, kind of thing. So we're on the front line, just in different places in the country. Sometimes maybe you could work with them, but in our case, we had an area here to work against Taliban, and they had theirs, and so on. That's how it basically worked. So yeah, everybody was on their own front line. There was no backline, or not even a step back, even with forward operating base where you went to sleep. You have to sleep with your weapons, go to toilet with your weapons. Someone's on sentry 24/7. There was no actual like resting place. You know what I mean? It's weird that it says that.
But also, some people have an idea of the front line based on other conflicts. Ukraine, it's clear to see where the front line is, although, of course, it changes regularly. Older conflicts like World War II, First World War, is obvious where the front lines were. In Helmand, where you were, it was messy to say the least, wasn't it? You'd see people who were Taliban who put their weapons down behind a tree and come out with an implement, and they'd suddenly be farmers. It wasn't obvious at all where the front line was at all times, was it?
No, there's no like uniform. It's not much in the movies where there's a load of guys in the line and going back and forth. A farmer, someone walking down the street, say hello to you on Monday, try and kill you on Tuesday, kind of thing. So yeah, it was an absolute. This is the thing, like there was no break. There was no break. As soon as you left, that was it. It was getting on. Safety catch off kind of thing and see what happens.
But let me just finish by asking. We've just heard from the Prime Minister on this. He thinks Donald Trump should apologise. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I suppose so. But if you don't really mean it, then you don't bother saying anything. And I'll just keep on thinking he is what he is. I'd rather know it than him saying sorry because he's been told by one of his advisors to say sorry. Just don't say anything if that's the case. And we can just see him for who he is.
Yeah, saying sorry is not necessarily the kind of thing he would usually do, whether other people think he's made a mistake or not. I guess the final point is this changed your view of him, or has it confirmed your view of him?
No, I didn't think a lot about him anyway, really, to be honest with you. But on in this case, when it comes to veterans or how he looks at our country, our soldiers, bear in mind we are the best in the world, especially our special forces. And it's just ego, I suppose, where America this, America that. There's no respect for us in that way. This is what key has got to stand up for our country, especially our forces. Because when it all, we can talk about politics all day long, but when it comes down to fighting, it's me and other guys who think go
Hello.
Cancer ward age 2, a devastating leukemia diagnosis made worse by an infection. She's now 10, and her mum says she's still